Welcome back to Music Talk. I'm Dave.
I'm Mike.
And this week, we're going to check out the latest from Timothy B. Schmit, which most people know him as the bass player from the Eagles, also with Poco, right?
Yep, Poco. And he had a band that they started when he was a kid. I forget the name of it now, but they did manage. They had a hit in regionally down in California and in Virginia and in Indiana.
Yeah.
And that's how he got recognized.
Yeah. And I think his first band, he actually played with Jackson Brown, was part of it, I think.
Could be.
The name's called Day by Day, and he actually did the artwork on that feather there.
Yep.
Here's the back of it. I think that's someone else's art there. And it's got the track listings on there. And then he's got this on the inside cover, you know, a little bit of a Serenity view there. CD looks like this. It's got copper color with the feather in there.
Yep.
And then he's got the nice little booklet. Same deal as the cover. You got all the words, the track listings, each song, who plays on what.
Yeah.
All the way through, a little bit of more art. You get to the end, you get a picture of him somewhere in here. Right there.
Right.
So that's who he is, in case y'all don't know who he is. That's what he looks like. You've seen him before on the Eagles stuff.
He looked a lot better about 10 years ago.
So this is, I think this is like his 7th solo album.
6th or 7th, yeah.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Well, I mean, you know, the Eagles they broke up for about 14 years and then got back together.
Yeah. Well, I never really listened to any of his solo albums before this.
Honestly. I hadn't either.
I mean, I know he's done some stuff in some of the Eagles concerts that were his solo songs, but that'd be the only time that I've heard any of his stuff solo, you know. But mainly it was what he's done with the Eagles and Poco also, because I like a lot of the older Poco that he played on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was, yeah. And that's what I was going to say. I mean, I heard some little tricklings of Poco. There were a couple of songs that I heard that actually referenced a little bit of the Beach Boys type thing going on.
Yeah.
But the one thing I got to say, it sounded very sterile. You know, I mean, if we want to go down the list, Simple Man, The Next Rainbow, Heartbeat, I didn't even put comments down because they didn't raise anything.
Well, for Simple Man, they had those harmonies, and I do you think that they were done with auto-tune, the harmonies?
Yep. I think it was done with the vocal box.
Yeah, because they were too perfect almost, right?
Jay Palmer did the same thing on our demo thing out in Nashville when we had Railroad X going, you know, to be a backup band for whoever needed one. So we put it out there, and he has his own studio. It's called Song Farm.
Yeah.
And he did the same thing. He went in after we had gone in and done a couple Bob Seger tunes and stuff like that, just covers, you know, and we did one original, and he was putting in the background ooze, and they all happened exactly at the same time.
Right.
You know, it was like there's no human element there, you know.
Yeah.
And I just watched the thing on YouTube with Rob Nolan, and he was talking about why music sucks today, you know.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you know, these harmonies, I mean, they sounded okay, and you could definitely tell they were too perfect to be, you know, just somebody going in there and doing them. I had a bluegrass kind of sound to me. Interesting thing is Lindsey Buckingham was playing guitar on this.
Yeah. He had a lot of, I kept trying to track down who was doing what, where. There's not a lot of information out on the internet about who's doing what, where, when, and how.
No,
you know, I mean,
not even, go ahead. I'm sorry.
They do talk about, you know, different musicians that were on the album.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. What I want to know is what tracks were they on.
Right.
So I need some information. you know.
Timothy B. Schmit does pretty much everything except for he's got Lindsay doing some acoustic and the lead guitar. And then the drums is Herman Matthews, which Herman Matthews, I think, plays the drums on pretty much every song, but maybe one or two. I tried to look some of this stuff up, man. And I mean, some of these guys on here, I couldn't find a lot of information on, but he does have Herman Matthews on pretty much most of the album. I thought it was a kind of bluegrassy song a little bit, but it's definitely laid back. So,
well, there were excerpts in the album that reminded me of his roots.
Yeah.
Poco, you know, I mean, there were a couple of songs that were really, Poco could have grabbed this and just taken it for a fucking ride, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, sorry about the language, but no, I'm serious. They could have just taken it for a ride and really turned it into something.
Yeah. Yeah. And the next one, number 2, The Next Rainbow, that one really didn't do much for me. That was kind of a cheesy song. Not much going on there. I didn't write a whole lot down on that one other than it was just kind of cheesy to me, you know. Then we got Heartbeat. And to me, this one sounded like an Eagles song.
It sounded good.
Of them, that had most of the Eagles sound to it.
It sounded good until they got to the end and they did that pause and the heartbeat was going. And I'm like, that's just cheesy. I'm sorry. But, but here's the thing. And see, I had to really sit back and reevaluate where Timothy is probably coming from. He's 77 years old or 70. Yeah, he's about 10 years older than I am.
Yeah, he's up there.
76.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that he's looking at life through the grandpa glasses and going, I just want to make things sweet and nice and sugary and, for the grandkids and all that stuff,
Yeah, this whole album is that way too, honestly.
Right. It is. It is. And I had to look at it that way, but I had higher hopes.
Me too. I really was a little bit let down on this because I was hoping for more also. So Heartbeat had a guy on guitar named Errol Cooney. He's a studio guitarist, and he was doing the lead work on Heartbeat, and he also did all the lead work on Mr. X, which to me was one of the better songs on here.
It's a little bit higher, but yeah, the thing that I felt about Mr. X, it just had a real nervous feel about it. He was like almost, oh God, it was like he was having an episode or something as he was singing it, I mean, I just couldn't relax and listen to it because he just sat on the edge of the beat the whole time.
That's true.
In front of
now, to me, the best part on it was the outro solo that Errol played. That was a great solo. And he had a guy named Phil Jones on drums on this one. So again, I tried to look up some of these guys, man, and I didn't find a whole lot of information on them. They're really not much out there on some of these musicians. So then we get to number 5, which is Questions of the Heart. And this is basically Timothy B. Schmit played everything except for the drums, which is Herman Matthews again. And then he had a guy named, or it could be a woman, named Arlen Scherbaum on organ. Not sure who that is. But the thing about this song was this is the first time he introduces the background singers. And these women are awesome singers. You got Marlena Jeter, Lynn Fidmont, and Mortonette Stevens. And all these singers, all 3 of these they've been with everybody. They've been with Elton John, Linda Ronstadt, the Eagles, Stevie Wonder, Natalie Cole, Phil Collins, Streisand, Seal, you name it. These chicks were on them, man. So I really like their harmonies.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm not big on a lot of the songs, but them 3 women doing the harmonies on like 4 of these songs were 3 or 4 of these songs were just phenomenal.
Yeah.
On those background.
Yeah, they were.
So I really enjoyed listening to them, even though the song was just, just laid back again. The whole album is really laid back. So
yeah, it is.
And then number 6 is Something You Should Know. Basically, Timothy B. Schmit doing everything, just an acoustic kind of thing going on. It's all right.
Yeah, that had a little bit of the Poco flair to it.
Yeah. And then number 7, I Come Alive. And I thought this was had great guitar, great organs. There's kind of a pop reggae-ish beat going on there.
Yep.
You know,
The guy on guitar, I don't know. I mean, I couldn't dig up any info on this stuff, but the guy on guitar on the video looked just like the guitar player the Eagles use.
well, his name's Errol Cooney, same guy that did the other two that I liked a lot.
Okay.
So I'm not sure it could be.
Well, I know the guy that does that's guitar player for the Eagles. He's from Arlington, Virginia, Virginia boy. It might not have been him, but I swear to God, it looked very similar.
Yeah, he did.
But I'll
Matter
tell
of
you,
fact, because I saw the video just earlier, and he did kind of look similar to that dude.
yeah, and yeah, I Come Alive. I liked the song again. It was because of the instrumentation,
Yeah,
and the background vocals. I mean, it showed
Yep.
these girls on the video. They're sitting there. What kind of lipstick are you going to wear?
yeah.
And then they're practicing the vocal just
Yeah.
raw. You know,
Yeah.
nothing there, no track or anything. They're just practicing their vocals. You
Yeah.
know? That's cool.
To me, they were the highlight of the whole record. Was
Yeah.
those three women. They were getting it, man.
Yeah.
I really loved listening to them sing, and they made this song. This is one of the songs I like the best on the record. Honestly, it
Yep.
felt a little Poco-ish to me, and they had the great vocals, you know. So
yeah, a little bit Poco-ish.
this is what I kind of figured the album should sound like. Mostly was songs like this.
Right. That and the next one that he did, Feather in the Wind.
Feather in the Wind. Yeah.
That had the Beach Boys flavor / Poco flavor to me.
Yeah. And
you know, it had
Phil
great
Jones on drums. So
it had great harmony work happening.
Yep. And that was Timothy B. Schmit, Chris Farmer, Matt Jardine, and Darian Sahanaha, whoever that is. So
well, Jardine, I mean, there's a Jardine in the Beach Boys, you know. I mean, not Matt Jardine, but maybe he's related.
Could be. Could very well be. But yeah, again, another decent song there. And then we get to number 9, which is Grinding Stone. And this has got Phil Jones again on drums. And it's got John McPhee playing the fiddle, you know, from the Doobie Brothers.
Right.
So I didn't even know he played the fiddle.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Blackwater. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wow. Okay. And then on the chorus on this, you got Jackson Brown and John Fogerty.
Yep.
Singing backups. So
you never know it though.
No, you wouldn't. But they're there. And I listened again and I'm like, I can't even tell it's them.
I couldn't either. I mean, I read some of that stuff and I kept trying to pick out these people and I just couldn't pick them out. You know?
No. But yeah, and the song was pretty all right, I guess. Wasn't too bad. Then we get to number 10, which is Tastes Like Candy. And now this one, Phil Jones again on drums. You got Kenny Wayne Shepherd on lead guitar on this one. So I mean, this guy's showing up everywhere, Kenny Wayne Shepherd.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been like all these CDs we've done lately, he's been on them, it seems like.
Right.
You know who the number one person on here that you gotta know? You gotta know who this is, man. Ben Tench.
Yeah.
He's on organ. Our man, Ben Mont, has come back. I haven't heard him in a while.
Yeah, but you know, getting back to Kenny Wayne Shepherd, I don't know. It's hard for me to be a fan of people that are trying to make their career on blues stuff that's already been done. Everybody wants to ride that tide that's already been done.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I love to go hear people that know what they're doing. I love to go to bars and hear bar bands do covers and stuff and do them correctly and things.
Yeah.
That's all well and good.
Yeah.
But I don't want to buy and make somebody ultra famous for doing basically covers.
Yeah. I mean, he seems to be everywhere right now. He's popping around on everybody's album. So
yeah.
But I know he's got his own thing going. So I don't know. Maybe he's in demand for some reason. I don't know.
Well, probably because he's willing to travel.
Could be. Or he might just be hooked up in that same studio that everybody's running through, you know. So
well, you know yourself. I mean, Sound City is one of them. But people are pretty headstrong about doing their stuff in their living room or the bedroom.
Right.
And that takes number one, takes the human element out of it, turns everything into digital, and there
Yeah.
you go. You're losing the dynamics of music when you're doing that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
I
a big
actually thought this song wasn't bad. Tastes Like Candy. It was one of the
right.
ones I have starred. I have 3 of them with stars that I kind of liked.
Uh-huh.
The 12 songs on here, which
Uh-huh.
is another thing. It's a 68-minute album. It's a long record. Very
Yeah,
long.
for 12 songs, that is pretty long.
Yeah.
I mean, should have only been about 40 minutes, 45 minutes,
Yeah.
3 minutes. And one review I read went to this angle on it and said that there were a few songs, there were like 3 songs that were like 5 minutes plus, and they could have chopped it down to 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a couple of them aren't that long. So you got like 2 songs that are only like 4 minutes. So the
Right.
rest of them are really up there, So
Right.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Then we get to Conflicted. Conflicted has Jim Keltner on drums.
Yeah.
And, to me, this was like an old 50s, 60s style song. It kind of reminded me of something back then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Mhm.
Wasn't bad. It was just, I don't know. It was okay.
Well, the next Rainbow reminded me of kind of a rockabilly approach too.
Yeah, it did.
It had that twangy, echoey guitar work going on and stuff.
Mhm.
And I mean, I appreciate that, but
Right. And then the last song we get is Where We Belong. Uh, Phil Jones on drums on that. Got a guy named Will Ivy on lead guitar. And it's okay song. But I mean, overall, I don't know, man. I didn't feel any energy in this album at all.
yeah.
It didn't really do much for me. I mean, you can put it on if you're having like a dinner and just let it play lightly in the background, and it would be great because there's nothing that's really going to distract you, And I know that sounds bad, but there was just nothing in here to make me turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I dig that. That's a good song,"
Well, one thing that I I feel about the whole situation, and this is only my personal opinion.
Mhm.
I mean, of course, if somebody like the Eagles would have asked me to join the band, I mean, now granted, you got to look at the fact too that basically what Timothy Schmidt did was fill Randy Meisner's shoes
Yeah,
all along through Poco, through the Eagles.
yeah,
I feel like actually creative wise, that Timothy Schmidt was better off with Poco
yeah,
because, Don Henley and Glenn Fry, they
yeah.
definitely had the thumbs on the creation
Right.
in the band, which is all well and good.
And he's a great
Uh,
bass player.
yeah, I mean, I just think that he was a lot more creative. I mean, listen to stuff like Rosa Cimarron, things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, granted, you had 4 other guys in that band too that were being creative, and they shared all creativity
yeah,
through the band.
yeah.
And in the Eagles, it was Glenn Fry and Don Henley, and you had to go through them to make sure that it was okay to do whatever.
Exactly.
Um,
Well, I mean, one thing I will say though, I mean, it's not an incredibly bad record. I mean, it's not bad.
no,
It's just
no,
not for me. You know, it's.
no.
I mean, he said that he's a folk singer at heart, and I think you have a lot of folk going on here, sort of. I just don't think that his voice is very strong.
Well, his voice is not meant for folk. I mean, you want to hear folk music, pick up and listen to John Prine.
Yeah,
John Prine can entertain you with an acoustic guitar
yeah,
and his storytelling.
yeah.
You know, that's folk. I
And
don't get tired of that.
I think that's what Timothy's missing is just his voice. If he had something, I don't know if it was. It's kind of like a shallow, almost like when you were saying earlier that on that one song where it felt like he was like on the edge, he wasn't
Yeah, he was
quite,
nervous.
yeah, like wasn't quite sure, and that's how all the songs kind of sound. He's not sure if his voice is going to be what he wants it to be every time he sings. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, he's great for backups, but as a lead vocalist, I just feel like he's missing something. It's kind of hollow. It's not quite there.
He doesn't have the the presence. Like, okay, for example, Randy Meisner,
Yeah.
That guy could belt it out.
Mhm. Yeah.
Vince Gill.
Yeah.
Vince Gill, when he opens his mouth, he takes control of the stage. But
Yeah.
with Timothy, other than when he was in Poco, I don't know. It just doesn't command my attention. It's
Yeah.
a little. I don't, and don't get me wrong. I I appreciate the effort and everything that he did
Mhm.
here. I can't say I was disappointed. I had higher expectations,
Yeah.
but a lot of production on the album was top notch production.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, he produced it with a guy named Jeff Peters, and they did it all in his studio, which is
Right.
called Moose Lodge. And the one funny thing that I heard him say was that he wished he would have called it Moose Lodge after the dessert. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
And he's a
But
funny
yeah,
guy to hang out with, I'm sure, sit back, and he's probably got a million stories. And I don't think he's a bad musician. I don't think he's a bad singer. It's just I don't think he has enough to carry the songs. You know what I mean?
he doesn't have the presence.
Yeah.
He doesn't have stage command.
Yeah.
Vince Gill walks up to him like it's all eyes on him.
Maybe it's like confidence, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
You
I
would
don't
think
know.
he'd have the confidence by
I don't
now.
know. I don't know if it's about the confidence. I don't know. I think it maybe that hiatus that they took 14 years and he did his solo stuff. He just drifted down another road and kept hanging on to it. And I mean, with the Eagles stuff, he's performing and doing his parts.
Right. It's not a bad record. It's just not something that I'm very, it doesn't really excite me. I'm probably not going to play it much at all, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, I'm giving this one about a 5.9. I mean, there's some good writing in it. There's some good words. You have some quality musicians in here. I just didn't connect with any of it, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I agree. So. I agree. I'm there. I'm probably about I don't know, I'd give him a 5 or a 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you at a 5.75.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I love the stuff that he's done in the past, like Crazy Love and stuff like that,
Right.
I don't know, I've always felt a little bit left down with him in the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He never got to shine the way he did in Poco.
No.
And I think he kind of, honestly, I mean, he probably wound up being a bigger mark in history by being with the Eagles.
Right.
But I think it kind of quelled his creativity.
Yeah. And almost kind of because he was limited to what he could do. He couldn't really express himself much. And I'm wondering if that being in that box kind of, sent him where he is now,
Well, I think that's why he's looking through life with the grandpa glasses on and wanting to wrap his arms around his family and just,
yeah, I mean,
be taste like candy,
Exactly.
I don't fault him for that. I understand.
No, and I mean, he put out the record I'm sure he was looking to do. And he even said in one of the interviews too that, when he thinks of people for the record, he usually tries to find the right person for the part. And 80% of the time, the people that he asked plays on the record. So, and who's going to say no, really? I mean, unless you're really super busy. Timothy B. Schmit says, hey, come play on my record. Yeah, sure, I'm going to.
Well, he ain't asked me.
Yeah, he didn't ask me either. But I probably won't get any phone calls from him after this review.
Yeah, probably not. You probably want to know who the hell I thought I was.
Yeah, right. I mean, what are you gonna do, right?
Well,
all right. Well, we'll wrap it up. Timothy B. Schmit, Day by Day. I think it's a good dinner record.
Yeah,
something in the background if you want something going. Not real exciting to me. I didn't connect, so I gave it a 5.9. Mike gave it a 5.75.
There you go. That's right.
All right. Well, until next time, y'all stay safe.
Peace out and listen to the music.